Hello and welcome Spring 2018 Calculus 2 Internet students to the online orientation for your course. My name is Robert D. Giovanni. I'm the instructor for the course, and this video is intended to just get you familiar with my expectations and just how you'll be navigating through the different websites that you'll be visiting throughout the semester to do your work and to learn. So I wanted to start off first of all with some of the basic expectations. Even though this is an online course, the expectation is still that you are able to put in at least 5 to 7 hours a week for this work. Calculus 2 in itself is much more difficult than Cal 1. At least that's what my students tell me. That was my experience as a student. Really, the bar is raised significantly higher in Calculus 2 than it is in Cal 1. Mostly because there's a lot of new ideas and they just keep on coming. And then when you get towards the end of the semester, especially Chapter 8, when you start sequences in series, things get rather complicated very quickly, and it's usually new information for everybody. So the pace kind of never lets up. In fact, you could argue that it gets more difficult towards the end. So with that said, what I'd like to do is take you through the website and kind of show you how everything's going to work. I'm going to assume that you can log into ACES through the Northwest Vista website and that you can get to your courses. So you should have Spring 2018 listed here, and you'll want to go to Calculus 2, or section Math 2414, section 24. Go ahead and click on that, and you will see our main homepage. Now it's going to look a little different for you. I have the instructor's view. I'm going to turn it into the student view here in just a second, but I wanted to show you first of all how we will communicate. All communication between you and me must be done through this system right here. So there's a little inbox on the left hand side here, and if you click on that, you'll see, this email system, and I'm sure you can figure out how this works. Your inbox is here on the left-hand side. Then if you want to create a new message, you just click on that, and then you go and you select the course, which was this one. And then if you want to send me an email, you'll just go click on that and then go to teachers, and I'll be the only one listed there. Type in your subject and then your message. And you can also do attachments. You can even do videos if you have a webcam. No one's ever sent me a video, but you can if you want, and then you'll click send. So if I'm going to send something to the entire class, this is the way I'm going to send it. And if you want to send me something officially, this is the way you need to send it. Do not use your Yahoo account or something like that, because that automatically will get filtered out. I'll never get it. Okay, so back to the course. And I'm going to turn this into student view, so it'll look very much like what you will see. And this is it. Okay, so on the left hand side we got some tabs here. I'm going to go through a few of these. Some of these I'm going to let you figure out yourself, like discussion, people, and collaborate ultra. These are all kind of like discussion boards and how you can find your classmates and things like that. I'll just go through these first four. So we're at our home page right now. Right here, orientation video. The video you're watching, I'll have a link to it once I finish creating it and uploading it. So that'll be this video, and then you have your schedule and then some other links, and I'm going to go through each of these. But what I wanted to first start with is the syllabus. So let's go to the course syllabus, and here it is. So this is kind of our contract. You should note first of all that this course is, even though it's an online course, you still have to come on campus for 2 exams. So the dates and times of those exams are listed here. March 23rd, that's a Friday at 9 a.m. and then another Friday, May 11th at 9 a.m. You'll be coming to Northwest Vista's campus, Juniper Hall, room 111A. From there, I will kind of send you out to different classrooms, and you'll sit at a computer and you'll take those 2 exams right there. So if for some reason you cannot make the exam, now what I mean by that is, you live out of town or you have an emergency come up where you can't be there, then you can have a proctor give you the exam, but there's a protocol here that I want you to go through. You have to find local library, university, some official testing center. And what I mean by that is, it's not just, I need you to be able to be monitored by somebody. So somebody has to be watching to make sure that you are just sitting at the computer doing your work, that you're not going off to different websites, that you're not opening your book and looking through things. So trying to maintain the integrity of the course, not giving any one student an unfair advantage over other students. So go find a proctor. Once you find that proctor, you get their contact information, you send that proctor information to me. I will then contact the proctor to make sure everything is good to go and that they can accommodate you and meet my expectations. And once I've approved it, I will email you and let you know. You have to send me that email with the proctor information at least 14 days before the test. So the reason for that is I have 3 internet courses, and I'm doing Calculus 1, 2, and 3 online. So if I had 15 students send me a request to take the test with a proctor 2 days before the test, there's just no way I could coordinate all of that with all the proctors. So I need 2 weeks. That gives me a good, comfortable window to get everything organized and taken care of. If you do not show up for one of these exams, it's an automatic 0, and I believe that'll have a huge impact on your grade, as you'll see later as we get to the weights of grades. So 2 on-campus exams, you go find a proctor if that's the situation you're in. Here's my contact information, my office location. This is my email. This is not the email address you'll be using. Of course, we'll be using that inbox on the side. However, if this system fails, there's an alternate email address. Or if you want to reach me after the semester or something like that, future down the road, letter of recommendation, that's a good email address to use. I also include here my cell phone number. So as an online instructor, one of the benefits for me is that I don't have to show up to class and teach. But the other side is that I need to be available to my students. So you have my cell phone number. Of course, you can email me, but that's a little slower usually. If you have something, let's say you're sitting at home, it's 10 o'clock at night, you're working on a problem, you've worked it out a few times, you just cannot seem to get the answer that the computer is asking for. Well, if you text me, what you can do is take a picture of the problem, you can take a picture of your work, and then you can ask me to try and help you out, see where your error is. And I actually invested in a new phone this year, and this phone I'm really excited about because it gives me the ability to write on the screen. So what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to take your picture of your work and annotate it and highlight, hey, this is wrong, or I can even create my own little image and draw my own solution to the problem and send it back to you. And we can do that, even if I'm sitting at I don't know, at a park bench somewhere, I should be able to help you. So let's take advantage of that. Don't feel as if you're bothering me. If it comes to a point where I feel like you're bothering me, I'll just let you know, like, hey, you need to try a little harder to figure this out on your own. But there's no shame in asking for help. In fact, I encourage you to ask for help, especially in a course like Calculus 2. Sometimes you just need a nudge in the right direction. And I just don't want you to feel like you're sitting at home completely isolated with like nobody to turn to. So that's what I'm here for. You've got my cell phone number. I do ask that if you do text me, that you include your name and what class you're in, because I do have 3 online courses and 3 face-to-face courses. So I need to know who you are. Also, taking that picture of that problem really helps me. If you just say, hey, I need help on homework problem number 4, it's like, okay, if I'm sitting on that park bench, like, I don't know what homework problem number 4 is. So, expedite the process by sending me as much information as you possibly can. All right, now if you want to come visit with me, my office, I have office hours here that you can just walk in and I should be there. Now, I will say that sometimes I have to go substitute, or I'll have some meeting that I have to go to, so sometimes I won't be there. So if you're going to make like a special trip to the campus, I would just text me like earlier in that day or the day before and just say, hey, are you going to be in your office hours tomorrow? And I'll confirm with you, because I would hate for you to drive 30 miles, get there, and then, you know, I went and subbed someone's class. So, okay, so that's my contact information. Now, as far as materials for the class, you actually do not need to go buy a book or anything like that. You'll be gaining access to an electronic book and to the website that you do all your work on by using a credit card and just purchasing it. Now, that means there's no purchase of a book, but you have to purchase access. And I believe there's two types of purchases you can make. You can do a semester purchase, which means that your access to the ebook and to the website will only be good for one semester. And then I think there's a year-long purchase you can do. They're different prices, of course. But if you intend on taking Cal 3 online at Northwest Vista, I use the same system. So you could theoretically purchase it once. If you do both classes within 1 year, then you would only have paid for the access one time. So you make that decision for yourself, and if you have any questions, let me know. So when you go to this website to get enrolled, which I'm going to show you how you would initiate that process, you will need what's called the access key. So there it is, Northwest Vista 935733991, and you will type that in, and that will get you into our course. You must do that and have that completed by this date, or else you'll be dropped from the class. Also, let me mention that if you are not too sure if you want to really do this online course, while you're trying to register through this website, you will be able to request temporary access. I don't know exactly where it is. You'll have to go kind of look when it's asking you to pay. And I think it gives you 2 weeks to have full access to the website without having to purchase. And then after that 2 weeks is up, you need to purchase. Actually, you should purchase before the deadline hits, because I've had problems with students when the deadline hits, the system goes crazy. So, but that gives you some time if you're waiting for financial aid or something like that, or waiting for a paycheck. You know, you've got some time to think about it. All right, so do that by that deadline. Now, the whole course is based upon a textbook. Again, you don't need to buy it, but if you are interested in what that textbook is, all the information is here. If you're one of those people who really needs to have like a book in a backpack to feel like, hey, I'm taking this class, you can purchase the book, but that's an additional cost and it's not required. So just keep in mind that book, an electronic version of it, will be online for you. All right, the other thing you need for this course, you need to keep a binder, and I have a video here that you will be able to watch if you want to look at what a good binder looks like. But in this binder, you must have all of your handwritten homework, your handwritten quizzes, handwritten exams, and then your notes that you take when you're watching the video lectures, which I'll explain, you know, how everything works. I'm going to explain that in a little bit, but that's what needs to be in the binder. And there's something very important here in red. If you do not have handwritten work to support your online work, you won't receive any credit for it. So I'm going to collect this binder at the final exam. And if you come to the final exam and you don't have handwritten work that shows that you did, you know, all of the homeworks by hand on paper, then I'm going to consider everything you did online as being zeros. So that's one of those things that online students kind of, well, I've had students completely forget this, and it's not good. Because if you lose all the credit for everything you did online while you're at home, you're going to fail the course. So I expect you to sit down, take notes like you would in class when you're watching my video lectures. I expect you, when you're doing a homework problem, to be working the math out and have that all in a binder to turn in to me. And you know, there's two reasons for this binder. I mean, one is because it maintains the integrity of the course. It kind of shows that the person who's enrolled in the course has handwritten work to support what they're doing. And then also, it's just to help you be organized, become a better student. So don't forget the binder. Calculators. Now, in terms of calculators, you are allowed to have one. You don't have to use one. You can have a graphing calculator. That's fine. This is a TI-84 Plus. This is perfectly okay for the exams. But here I have the TI-89 Titanium, and this one you are not allowed to use. And if you know anything about this calculator, or any calculator that has what's called a CAS system, it's called a computer algebra system, this pretty much does derivatives and integrals and series and a lot of things we're doing by hand. This can do it. So this would definitely be considered cheating on a test. And we could get into a big theoretical discussion about, well, why are we learning to do this by hand if our calculator can do it? But my short answer to that is you have to understand this is calculus 2 and calculus in general. Even if you're an engineering major, mechanical engineering or something like that, like you're probably never going to need to do an integral, and if you did, you'd probably have a computer do it. But this is about you maturing as a student, your mental capacity, your ability to face a challenge, to problem solve, all right, to become an independent learner, but to become a good problem solver. It's funny, I talk to a lot of engineers that are working real world, and we talk about, oh, yeah, I don't use the calculus and stuff, but it's about problem solving, okay? And if your boss comes in and puts a problem, gives you a problem, a challenge to try and to tackle, if you've never trained yourself to work something through and to fail at it and keep trying and then finally break through, if all you've ever done is punch numbers into a calculator without any understanding or thinking, then you're not going to be able to do that sort of thing. So that was supposed to be a short answer, sorry. So you are not allowed to use a computer algebra system. All right, the rest of this description just talks about the course, what the objectives are, the outcomes, and like what topics we're covering, which you can read through that. As far as the way the grade breaks down, the binder is actually part of your grade. Now remember, if you don't have your binder, you don't have the work in the binder, then anything you don't have work for is a 0. But if you turn in a binder and everything looks good, then that's just like a free 4% of your grade. It's like a free, just by staying organized, I'm going to give you 4 points. Then all the homework that you do online, that's going to be 10%. All the quizzes that you do online are 10%. And then you have 2 exams that you do at home on the computer. Those are worth 13% each. And then you do have the exam 2 and exam 4, which are the ones you come on campus for. Together, those are 25%. So half of your grade is basically determined by what you do on 2 days, 2 tests. That means they're very important tests. Now, for exams 2 and 4, I'm going to send out a document before the exams. You're going to have to sign it and bring it with you. And it'll lay out basically, this is kind of a template of what you'll see. It just talks about what you bring, what you should expect, what we'll be doing after the exam. So you can read through that on your own, but remember, I'll be sending you another version of that later. One important section here is this how to succeed in exams 2 and 4. So I've been doing this online thing for a while, and I usually get 2 types of students. I get students who maybe are thinking that online math is going to be easier, and or maybe not that they think it's easier, but they work and they've got full time, and they're like, well, I'll just take this online class, and they're not able to put in the time. So what they do is they find clever ways to find answers to the problems that they're doing online. There's all sorts of resources, of course, out there, Google, and I'm sure you can find answers to every single problem that you see on the website without actually having to do the work. And so I get students that just get hundreds on everything they do online, and then they come into exams 2 and 4 and they completely bomb them. They get like 1 or 2 problems right out of like 30 problems. And to me, it's very telling. That's one group of students, the students who just kind of find a way to get through all the at-home stuff and then completely bomb these 2 exams. Then the other group is the students who are really putting in the time and the effort and trying to learn, right, and doing everything I expect. And they usually do pretty well on these 2 exams, and it's really because of the practice. And so what this is telling you is that to prepare for these exams, you need to be going back to all your homeworks and quizzes and reviewing them, which the system allows you to go back and review, and it'll cycle through new problems for you so you can practice and practice, and it won't affect your grade. Just keep on practicing. And what you want to be able to do is sit down at those 2 exams and look at the problem and recognize it and know what to do. That's the big thing. Not pattern recognition, but just knowing how to attack the problem once you see it. See, when you're at home, you've got your binder, you've got all your assignments laying in front of you, you've got Google, you've got YouTube, you've got all these resources, right? But when you come to exams 2 and 4, it's you, blank paper, formula sheets, that's it. So you need to prepare for that environment. So the best way to prepare for it is at home before these exams, put yourself into that testing environment. Put everything away, get some blank paper out, go back, try and take a quiz. See how you do. If you can't get through that quiz successfully, you're not ready for these 2 exams. So hopefully you'll heed my warning there and take my advice, practice, and you should do okay. Now, the online work that you have to submit, the homework and the quizzes, remember there's the homework, the quizzes, and there's 2 exams you do at home. In the event that you fall behind on something, you can request an extension. For the homework and the quizzes, you can request those through an automated system. And there's a video that I have here that shows you how to do that. Now, you get a penalty of 10% if you are late on something, but at least you can complete it without it being a 0. As far as the exams 1 and 3 that you do at home, those you cannot automatically request an extension. You have to email me and I'll talk to you and be like, hey, what's going on? But I still may extend it for you. Now, in terms of exams 2 and 4, the ones you have to show up for, those 2, there's no such thing as requesting extensions. Now, of course, I mean, if you have a medical excuse or something like that, we work it out. But just generally speaking, there's not extensions on those. In terms of attendance, even though this is an online course, I'll be tracking, what you're doing, how much time you're spending in the system. And if you miss more than 3 deadlines, because every week there will be assignments due. If you come up short on 3 of those deadlines, then I can drop you from the course. I'll look at that as lack of participation. Okay, and then the rest of this, I think you can read through that yourself. And then we have the schedule here, and I'm going to show you a different schedule, but that pretty much covers the entire syllabus. Let's go back to the home screen. Let's talk about that schedule. So if you click on that link, you can download the schedule, and here it is. And this schedule is just a guide to help you see what the whole semester looks like. So you can see here we have 3 assignments that are due on January 18th. You have to get enrolled in WebAssign. There's 2 assignments in WebAssign that you have to do. One of them gets you familiar with the system. The other one is basically you signing off on the syllabus saying that you understand the requirements of the course. And then on the 21st of January, you have to do 3.5. I did not want that to do that. You want to do 3.5. And then you work through, all these different deadlines. Notice that on the 28th, there's 2 sections due. On the 4th of February, there's 2 sections. Then you have an exam. Then the following Sunday, 1 section, 1 section, 1 section. Then we have spring break. And then 2 sections due on the 19th. And then you have to come on campus for the midterm. Then you have 2 sections due, 2 sections, 2 sections, 2 sections, 2 sections. Then at the end, it looks worse than it is. Chapter 9 is pretty short. But that kind of lays out the whole semester. All right, so I'd print that off, stick it in that binder, okay? Stay organized. And that's it for the schedule. Now, let's actually talk about how you're going to learn. I'm still not ready to go and show you where you do your homework and quizzes. Let's talk about how you're going to learn. So what I've done is I've taken a face-to-face Calculus 2 course from past semesters, and I took a camera in there and I recorded the actual lectures. And that's what I'm providing to you for delivery of the content to you. So right here it says class lecture videos. If you go here, it'll bring up this YouTube playlist, and you'll see here it says 2414 TR means Tuesday, Thursday, 3 p.m. That's what the class was. I never took that off there. Don't worry about that. Day 1, don't worry about that. 3-5 inverse trig functions. So that was I closed out that calendar, that schedule here. Let me bring that back up. I don't know why I downloaded it again. So C3.5 was our first assignment there. So what you would do is you would come here and you would watch this video. Now let me see here. Turn this up a little bit. So what I'm doing is, I'm working through problems. I'm going through the theory, and I'm actually following some notes. And those, you'll be able to get to those. Also, I'll show you where those are. And this is an hour 40 minutes or so. This is basically it. This is where I give you the information about Calculus 2. So I expect you to watch these. I don't want you to be like, oh, well, I didn't have time to watch the videos, so I tried to do the homework and I just went to Khan Academy and just kind of figured everything out. If you do that, you may be able to answer the problems online, but again, you're going to lose the big picture. And so this is just like you were sitting there in a face-to-face class, which means a lot of time, right? This is a lot of time that you're gonna have to commit to this. So you'll watch that video. I also have a second set of videos here. I have optional. This is a different semester, and I did this one a little differently. So if you want to, you can watch, these also. I follow the same notes, but it's just kind of a different camera setup. So those are there for you. And then I have a third set of videos. This is going to be a little bit hard to explain. So let me kind of hold off on those. It's homework solution videos, but I need to kind of show you something else first before I show those. So really you can look at this as being, all right, you're going to go watch a video, then you're going to go online, you're going to try and do your homework and your quizzes. If you're having trouble with the homework and quizzes, you're going to go look at these homework solution videos. And then if you still can't figure it out, then you Google, YouTube, whatever else, and then call me, text me, whatever. And we try and get you through. So that's basically the layout of the course. Let me go ahead and show you the files for the course. So in here you have the schedule that I already showed you. Formula sheets. So when you come to exams 2 and 4, you can bring all of these. Now, for exam 2, you don't need all of these. In fact, for exam 2, you only need like the first one and this last one. For exam 4, you can bring all of these. So that you print out, you bring it with you. I will not provide those for you. The thing is, though, you cannot edit those. You can't write your own little formulas and stuff all over it. Everybody has to have the same thing, so level playing field for everyone. But just so you know, you should print those out, put those in your binder, and as you're studying, make sure that you know where the formulas are on those sheets, know how to use them so that you're not sitting there on the day of exam 2 going, hey, it's the first time I'm looking at these formula sheets. So they should become, and you should probably be sleeping with them, right? Just tuck them under your pillow and become very close to those formula sheets. All right, back to files here. Course notes. I was saying that I followed, during my video lectures, I follow some notes. So here they are. You can open these up, print these out. If you'd like, in your binder, you're supposed to have your notes for the semester. If you'd like, you can just print these and then annotate them as you go. But you can't just print these out and then stick them in your binder and say, those are my notes. And you never did anything other than print something. But this is kind of what I'm going to follow now. This doesn't like to open up very quickly. There it goes. Okay, so here's the first page and the second page, right? You can just download it and print it. So those are the notes for most of the semester. Some sections I don't have notes for, and that's just because those sections, historically, I've just done better without having notes. I know that seems weird, but these sections, when I go through them, it's kind of like I have to follow the path of the class in their understanding. So there's no notes for some stuff in chapter 8. That's mainly where you're going to run into the issue of not having the printed notes. Okay, back to the home page. We've been through a lot of this. The video of what a good binder looks like is here. How to request partial credit. So this has to do with when you do your homework or quizzes or even your online exams. The computer's picky, so if you make a mistake or something and you want to request partial credit, there's a formal process to that, and that little video explains how you do that. I also have older videos. If you want to go back and watch some other lectures from other semesters, I have videos. They're just there. So, grades. As the semester progresses, I'll start putting your grades in here. Normally, I only upload grades after each exam. So after exam 1, I upload your grades here. And so this is our official place where the grades are. You'll be doing your homework and quizzes and exams in a different system. I'll have to take those grades and bring them in here, and that's kind of our, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that nothing is official until it's put in here, all right? Okay, I think I've got all that covered. I'm going to come back to the homework solutions. So let's go ahead and show you how you will actually get into the system. So I'm going to go back to the syllabus. I'm going to go back to that access key that I had. I'm going to click on this link. That's going to take me to WebAssign. And that is where we will do all of our homework and quizzes and online stuff. So here it is. And the first time you come here, if you already have this set up and you have a WebAssign account, you can just log in and then enroll in a new course. And it'll ask you for the class key, and you just put that in. If this is your first time, you just click here, enter class key, and then you go ahead and do this. Now, I'm not going to take you through the process. I'm pretty sure as an online student you can figure this out, but that'll take you in, and you will. It'll ask you for to set up an account, so you have to put in your name and an email address and things like that. So when you put in your name, make sure you put in the same name that you have officially on the roster for Northwest Vista College. Don't use any nicknames, or even if your last name is Smith, but then you got divorced and now your last name is Jones, then use what Northwest Vista has you down as, okay? Regardless of your immediate situation, whatever Northwest Vista has you down as, that's what I need for you to use as your name here. As far as the email address, you can use any email address. Feel free to use your alamo.edu one if you'd like, but I believe for the registration of WebAssign, you can use any email address. So assuming that you can get in there, all right, so I'm going to assume that you can get in, and that's where you're going to go pay. Remember, you have the 2 options, and then also the grace period, the trial period of 2 weeks, I believe. So I'm going to assume you can get that set up. The deadline for that, again, is Thursday, January 18th. So I'm going to log in, and this is not what it's going to look like for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to your class, and then I'm going to show you what your view will be. Now, unfortunately, the course has not started yet. Normally, your assignments, the things that you would be needing to do, would be listed here. And so what it would have like homework for 3.5 and then quiz for 3.5, and they'd be listed there. And then anything that is past due that you've already done will be listed right below this. There will be a little link that says past assignments. Past assignments, if you click on those, that's where you can go back and review your old homeworks and quizzes and ask the computer to generate new like study sets for you where you can just kind of practice without affecting your grade. That's also where you go if you have assignment that you missed. You go to past assignments, and that'll allow you to request an extension. And then also, if you want partial credit, you go to your past assignment, click on that, and you can request partial credit. Again, there's some videos that I have there. Let me make sure there are videos there. Yeah, the partial credit, yeah, how to request partial credits right here. So you can watch that video if you want to know how to do that. All right. So when the semester begins, this left side will populate with the list of assignments. And then also here's your ebook. So here's where you can go if you want to look at the book. Like we're going to start out in 3.5, so you can go to chapter 3, section 5. And this is what the entire section I'll be covering is based upon, this book. Okay. So you can print these pages, all right, if you'd like. Let me show you now and talk about this homework now, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to close the student view. I'm going to I'm going to jump in here and let's look at the homework for 3.5. So I'm gonna be viewing it as if I was you. Okay, so this is the homework assignment. Now there are a lot of free response questions, so you have to be able to type things in. And there's a little palette that'll come up here on the side. You need to learn how to do that or use that. One of the assignments that you have in the beginning is like an introduction to this website. We'll kind of give you some idea of how that works over there. But inevitably, you're going to have problems with this. You're going to forget a comma, or like they want you to use brackets and you forgot, or they wanted you to write x equals 3, not just 3. Those things are going to happen. That's why you request partial credit. So let's not get a headache with the system, okay? The computer's here just because this is an online course and this is kind of the best thing we have. But I don't want you to get completely frustrated with the fact that you're doing everything right, but the computer keeps on counting it wrong. We will get through that. Just pay attention to what the system is saying here. Sometimes it'll say, like, enter your answer in radians, or it'll say round to the nearest tenth. If it doesn't say round, then it wants the exact answer. So, for example, if your answer is 1/3, if you put 0.3333, it's going to count it wrong. If it says, give me the decimal, round it to the nearest tenth or something like that, then you can put like 0.3. But if it doesn't say that, then you have to put 1/3. So you have to pay attention to those little details. And the system pretty much lets you know what it wants as an answer. So, okay, let's say you're sitting here and you're doing this homework assignment and you're really, really having trouble with this. Then remember I said I had those homework solution videos. The way that works, and this is kind of a tricky part, is you need to come over here to the right-hand side and you need to look at this right here. See where it says 3.5.001. What that means is that if we go to that ebook that was open a second ago, and I go to the back of section 3.5, so here is 3.5, here's the exercises. If I go to number 1, because it was 3.5.001, that means the problem you're doing online is similar to this problem right here, this first problem. All right, let's look at another. Let me see. Let's look at another problem. Let's move down here a little bit. How about something like, all right, 3.5.019. That should look like number 19. So let me bring up the ebook. And if I look at 19, it should look like that. Yep, looks pretty close. Okay? So now, going back to my homework solution videos, I'm going to look at the homework solution videos for 3.5. And what you'll notice on this video is that I'll write the number of the problem down. Like, for example, I'm doing number 20 here. This is a problem. This is exactly number 20 out of the book. So if your WebAssign problem said 3.5.020, then this should look very, very similar to what it's asking. So the question is, did I do number 19? Because if I did number 19, you should have a good example of how to do it.
Video, but I can't pause it.
Let me see here. I did 18.
Just the.
I may not have done 19. I apologize. I should. Oh, okay. So I did do one like 19. Now, so this is a way that I said that if you're stuck on a problem, you can go watch these videos for homework solutions and homework help. You have to understand, I'm not going to do every single problem. A lot of them are there. I'd say 90% of the problems I did, maybe 95% of the problems. But remember, these problems are a little different. The numbers are a little different, but the method, the approach is the same. So hopefully that'll help you. I mean, you have that for the entire semester. Every section we cover, I should have homework solution videos for every section. So that's probably one of the most useful tools that I can provide you. Rather than buying a solution manual and you just sitting there reading it, you always read those and go like, I don't know how they did that step. This is me on video actually working through a problem very similar to what you're being asked to do. So back to, let me get out of that. We've got the book, we understand that hopefully. And back to this homework. Okay, so you submit the homework assignment. Now, when you do these homework assignments, it'll give you multiple tries. So if you get it wrong, it'll let you try again, try again, try again. Eventually, it'll count it wrong. But then you can ask the computer to generate a new problem. So theoretically, you can just keep working these until you get them all right. That's why students get hundreds on most of their homeworks, because they can just, try it until they get it right. The important thing is that you understand what you're doing, right? This is not about just getting it right. This is about understanding. Another point I want to make about that is some of the questions, especially later in Chapter 8, are multiple choice. And it's something like, does this series converge or diverge? And if you do enough problems online, you'll probably just know the answer without doing any work. When you come on campus and you take those tests, if you just pick the answer because you know that's going to be, diverges instead of converges, and you don't have any work to support that, I'm not going to count it right. This is where the whole idea of you need to have handwritten work comes into play. I don't mind giving you a multiple choice question, but you better be able to support it with work. All right, I'm going to close this out. Quizzes, on the other hand, quizzes are a little different. Let me show you the difference between a quiz and a homework. With a quiz, you can only put in the answer 3 times. So if you're doing a problem, you get it wrong the first time, get it wrong the second time, third time you have to get it right, and if you don't, it's counted wrong and you can't ask the system for another problem. So that's the main difference between a quiz, I just closed that out, between a quiz and a homework assignment. And the quizzes are made up of homework problems. So all I do is I take a subset of the homework problems, stick them into a quiz. So if you can do all the homework, you're good on all the quizzes. The exams are made up from quiz problems. So if you can do all the quizzes, you can do the exams. So no surprises, all right? Now, the difference between an online quiz and an online exam is really, there's no difference. I mean, let me double check that. I believe I've set it up. I don't want to give you misinformation here or incorrect information here. So on the quiz, you get 3 tries at each problem. Let's see, at the at-home exams, 3, yeah, you get 3, okay. So it's pretty much the same as a quiz. It's just weighted different in terms of how much of your grade it's worth. All right. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done here. I think this covers at least the major part of what I expect. If you have any questions moving ahead, please just contact me, email me, call me, text me, and I'll try and resolve any issues you may have. Remember, the big thing for you to do right now is to get into WebAssign, get yourself enrolled, and then start watching videos. And I look forward to a good semester. Cal 2 is a challenge, but it's an outstanding class. There's so much information here. You're going to learn a lot, and I hope you're willing to put in the time and work. And I'm here to help, if you need anything. So I'll see you down the road. Thanks for your time. I really do appreciate you watching this video. I know it's, not the most exciting thing to watch me talk, but all right, you have a good day. Thanks.